From Party Foul in Murfreesboro, here's Blue Raider Extra Point.
Welcome to Blue Raider Extra Point. I'm Abigail Martin, joined as always by Chase Owens and with Will Stevenson. We're back at Party Foul in Murfreesboro on another college game day morning, ready to give you all the Conference USA and MTSU Blue Raider info. Let's kick it off. First up, we have Nathan Vaughn and the starting lineup.
The starting lineup.
The Miami Hurricanes have narrowly escaped an upset 2 weeks in a row versus ACC opponents and will face one of the toughest tests left on its schedule as the Canes travel to Lane Stadium to face Justin Fuente's Virginia Tech Hokies. Miami needed a big fourth quarter and a spectacular game from De'Aaron King to leave NC State last week with a win. King tossed 5 touchdowns and threw for over 400 yards passing with another 100 yards on the ground to boot. Miami should look to replicate this success against an unusually bad Hokie defense that is giving up 31 points per game. Virginia Tech earned its spot as the butt of college football's joke last week as Justin Fuente iced his own team's blocked field goal return for a game-winning touchdown versus Liberty, a decision that ended up losing them the game. It's been a roller coaster season for Tech, who adds Miami this week and Clemson in 2 weeks and need 2 wins to obtain bowl eligibility. VT still has an excellent ground game powered by Khalil Herbert, and junior quarterback Hendon Hooker has looked much improved since a rough start versus Wake Forest a few weeks ago. They'll need both parts to score enough to outgun the Canes. Notre Dame exacted revenge on Clemson for its playoff loss 2 years ago with a big win in South Bend last week, which ended the Tigers' record regular season winning streak and put the Irish at number 2 in the polls. Now with the red carpet laid out in front of them to the playoffs, all Notre Dame needs to do is not mess up. Boston College almost downed Clemson 2 weeks ago and now will aim to pull some magic out of its hat for a major upset this week versus the Irish. But if the Eagles want to shock the world, they'll have to do better than they did versus Syracuse last week, barely topping the ACC's worst team in a 16-13 snoozer. Fresh off breaking a 3-game losing streak to hated rivals Georgia, the Florida Gators returned to the swamp for a cross-divisional bout against this season's surprise team, Arkansas. Things have looked up for Florida since its only loss versus Texas A&M and a long hiatus from a COVID outbreak on the team. And now the Gators are atop the East Division and in the hunt for a conference championship and a playoff berth for the first time in a decade. But if any team can turn dreams into nightmares, it would be the Hogs. Can Felipe Franks at quarterback win in a battle versus the school he called home for most of his college career? It will all be decided Saturday night in Gainesville.
Thanks, Nathan. And as you can see, it's a pretty big weekend for college football, so try to have an open schedule, catch as many games as you can.
Absolutely. Chase, what are your can't miss games for today?
Start you guys off. I'm going to start out with Indiana taking on Michigan State. Indiana, impressive season so far. Beat Penn State week 1 and then beat Michigan last week. Michigan State, no slouch themselves, also having beaten Michigan. So I don't know if that says Michigan's bad or these two teams are great. Either way, we'll find out today when they take on each other. The other game I got for you guys, Northwestern taking on Purdue. Northwestern top 25, but they've got to be fearful of Rondale Moore and that receiving core out at Purdue. Going to be a fun one.
We're looking forward to it. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have the Big Blue Review. Stay tuned for more on Blue Raider Extra Point.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Welcome back to Blue Raider Extra Point. I'm Abigail Martin, joined alongside Chase Owens and with Will Stevenson. Before we jump into this next segment, we want to take a moment to recognize what happened on this day in the Marshall community.
Yes, Abigail, and we're talking about the plane crash that took place 50 years ago, claiming the lives of 75 members of the Marshall community.
A really tragic moment 50 years ago happened in the Marshall community, and this past week they spent the entire week doing things that would honor and remember those players and teammates and staff and all who were on that plane crash. Our friend Noah Boffman actually talks about that in his next segment, The Big Blue Review.
The Big Blue Review.
Welcome back. For this week's review, let's take a look into the 50th anniversary of the Marshall plane crash. On November 14th, 1970, the Marshall Thundering Herd were headed back home after a tough loss at Eastern Carolina, when Southern Airways Flight 932 crashed into the hillside, killing everyone on board. All 37 players, 8 coaches, the doctors of the team, the athletic director, and 25 team boosters, as a total of 75 people on board. To this day, this is still one of the worst air tragedies in NCAA sports history. Their first victory of the 97 season came a year later after the crash, as Marshall faced off against Xavier University. With the Huntington community by their side cheering them on the entire game, the Thundering Herd scored a last-second touchdown to win the game 15-13. But now, we fast forward 50 years later after that crash to the year 2020, where we find ourselves in the middle of a global pandemic, where everything is uncertain everywhere. And our Blue Raiders travel to Huntington, West Virginia to play a very small part in that special day. Now, you might be wondering how the school is going to handle all the press, all the people that are going to want to be there for the occasion, for the significance of this event. The university says they still plan to celebrate the ones who lost their life on that tragic night, but like everything, with a 2020 special twist. The normal memorials that will be held will now be socially distanced and masked are required. Along with that, if you are not able to be in attendance for these memorials or events that they have planned throughout the entire day, there will be virtual options for you on the Marshall website. And of course, the fountains will be silenced like they are every year on this day. That's all the time we have for now. See you next week. Back to y'all.
Thank you, Noah. Much more to come on Blue Raider Extra Point. Coming up after the break, we're going around this USA.
And Houston Chapman will have this week's Blue Raider Spotlight.
And you guys know how we end every show, the picks. Stick around for more Blue Raider Extra Point.
You're watching Blue Raider Extra Point.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And welcome back to Blue Raider Extra Point. We're here at Party Foul in Murfreesboro, and we want to thank them for being such a great host. Chase, I know you're so excited for this one. Go ahead and take us around the CUSA.
2 games I got for you guys this week are actually Marshall taking on MTSU. Marshall still undefeated on the year with a top defense that we have not mentioned at all. And MTSU coming off that long bye, had a game canceled last week against Charlotte. And then the other game I got for you guys, we got some fan favorites here on Blue Raider Extra Point. We've got UTEP, go Miners, and we also have UTSA, go Roadrunners. It's going to be 2 great games. Let's jump into it.
Around the CUSA.
MTSU has tried to bounce back these past few weeks after starting the season 0-4. They have won 2 of their last 3 and were looking to compete against Charlotte before that game was postponed. Now they take on 16th ranked Marshall. For MTSU to win, Asher O'Hara is going to have to keep playing the way he was before the 2 weeks off. As the team's leading rusher and passer, Asher averages 330 all-purpose yards per game and right at 3 touchdowns a game. It will be no small feat to do that against Marshall this season, as they have only given up 1 touchdown a game. Marshall continues their undefeated season, and it can't go unnoticed the way Brendan Knox is playing. Averaging 5 yards per carry, 112 yards per game, and over a touchdown a game has elevated this Marshall team. And so is the fact that a defense that only gives up 9 points and 250 yards of offense per game. You combine those 2 things, and it is what allows Grant Wells to make free plays down the field. If these 3 components show up Saturday, then Marshall is looking to avenge last year's loss against MT and go 7-0. UTEP is coming off back-to-back losses and has not played a game in 3 weeks due to COVID and a bye week. They look to bounce back against a very solid UTSA team. The Miners have had most of their success whenever they win the rushing battle. This season, all 3 of their wins have come when they won the rushing battle. It's a huge week for Deion Hankins as he looks to continue his good season and get the Miners their first conference win of the year. UTSA has not looked good as of late, having dropped 3 of their last 4 and coming off a game in which they were dominated 24-3 by Florida Atlantic. Last week, the Roadrunners saw a COVID bye come their way as their game with Rice was postponed, and now they have a winnable game against a conference opponent. The offensive attack has been balanced this year for the Roadrunners as they split at 53% pass and 47% run for their total yardage on the year. Against a very middle-of-the-pack Miner defense, UTSA should have great offensive success this week.
Thanks, Chase. And now here's the full lineup of all the Conference USA games for this weekend.
Now that we have our CUSA matchups, guys, it's time to kick it over to the Blue Raider Spotlight where Houston Chapman is back on the golf course.
What's up, Blue Raiders? I'm Houston Chapman, and I'm here at the Grove, home of MT Golf. And behind me, I have the new practice facility coming soon. And I'm here with Connor. Connor, tell me about yourself.
So I'm Connor McKay. I'm a grad transfer from Lipscomb University. I got the opportunity from Coach Mack to come here for my final year and get ready to play professional golf.
Now, what have you been doing to prepare for the spring season?
So we had 3 tournaments in the fall, finished this fall season with a win at our home tournament. And now it's just kind of guys working on the individual stuff they have to do to get better, waiting to see kind of what happens with scheduling and what events we're going to play for the spring. So kind of for now it's just practice and wait.
So what have you been working on to prepare for the spring?
For me specifically, I made some swing changes, trying to work on that and get that down.
So what's one of your favorite holes here at the Grove?
Probably 15, yeah.
15? Well, here's the thing. I think that I can get onto the green in fewer shots than you. What do you think?
All right, well, yeah, we'll go do it.
All right, let's find out. Connor went first, and he delivered a strike right to the center of the green. Then it was my turn, and it didn't go well. But I made a club change, and I did way better. And then, on my last attempt, I broke the laws of physics and skipped it off the water and onto the green. Well, it did roll into the sand trap, but look at this shot. Incredible. So, as you can see, I was not able to beat Connor. He was able to get on and won, and after Connor suggested that I have a major club change from a 9-iron to a driver, I was able to almost get on, but then it rolled on into the bunker. But here's the thing, I've had a great time here at the Grove. If you want to check out Connor and the rest of the Blue Raider golf team, you can check them out on social media. And tune in next week for the next Blue Raider Spotlight.
Thanks, Houston. And Chase, we've seen him play a lot of sports this season. I think golf might be one that he might need to stay away from.
I was thinking all of them he needs to stay away from. Either way, we've got to go to break. We will be right back with more Blue Raider Extra Point.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Time for more Blue Raider Extra Point.
Welcome back. MTSU is set to travel to Marshall this Saturday. Let's send it over to Henry Frazier for this week's scouting report.
Thank you, guys. Marshall will be the first ranked opponent that Middle Tennessee will face this season. They come into this game 6-0, and their team is led by quarterback Grant Wells, who has over 1,300 yards this season, making him 31st in the nation. As well, their offense is led by running back Brendan Knox with 647 yards, making him in the top 15 backs in the nation as well. With Marshall's run-heavy offense, we look to the defense, as they are third in the nation in average yards allowed, as well as third in points allowed. They're a very well-rounded team, including 21 sacks, putting them in the top 10. This week, the Blue Raiders will be playing a tough one, as the Thundering Herd look to make it quick and score a lot. But as we've seen this year, anything can happen, as Asher O'Hara is near the top rushing and passing this season. Now back to Blue Raider Extra Point.
Thanks, Henry. And now with his scouting report in mind, what are some keys to succeed for MTSU against Marshall?
This week, MTSU has got to start fast. They've had 2 weeks off because of the fact that their game got canceled last week unexpectedly against Charlotte, and they've got to just come out and be better than that. And the fact that Marshall is undefeated on the season and a great team. You cannot afford to start flat-footed against a team like Marshall. Number 2, you've got to limit Brendan Knox. 674 rushing yards on the season, 9 touchdowns, and averaging 5.1 yards per carry. He's a true weapon that they utilize, and limiting him is key to be successful. And then thirdly, we've got to win time of possession. Through all the games Marshall has played this year, they have not lost one time of possession battle, and that's why they've been so successful. So MTSU got to dominate the football.
That's right, and my first key is I hope MTSU did their homework. Middle Tennessee beat Marshall last year in October. Hopefully this week included a lot of film to remember what kept the Blue Raiders on top of the herd. My second key is focused defense. MT averages almost 25 points per game, which is fine if you don't give up 37 to the opponent. This will need to be a defensive game because of the power behind Marshall's number 4 ranked defense. My third key is play all 4 quarters. Playing a strong team like Marshall can go very wrong very fast. If they take the lead, don't count yourself out. Come out at halftime and play like the score is still 0-0. Prove what this team has and give Marshall their first loss of the year.
Those are some great keys. My first key is win the turnover battle. MTSU has given the ball away more than their defense has created turnovers, and it doesn't help that Marshall's ranked 33rd in the country. My second key, win the first down. Marshall has a stellar defense, just as you mentioned, Will. MTSU offense seems to get better each and every week, and Asher O'Hara had a great passing game versus Rice. My third key, beat the odds. You're off unexpectedly last week, a bye before that. Marshall's undefeated, and they have the 4th best home win percentage in the country with teams at their current home field, winning 82.8% of the time.
Those are some big keys for a big game. But we got to take a break. When we come back, we've got our picks on Blue Raider Extra Point.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Blue Raider Extra Point. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for some college football, so let's go ahead and get in our picks. First up, we have Gardner-Webb versus Charlotte.
I've got Charlotte.
It's kind of easy. I'm going to go with Charlotte as well.
I have Charlotte. North Texas, probably won't be so easy, but UAB.
Mean Green, baby. I'm going North Texas.
Shocker. UAB.
I have UAB. UTEP and UTSA.
I've got UTSA in this one.
This is one of the only picks that I will respect. I'm going to go with UTEP, though.
I have UTSA. Rice and La Tech.
I'm going La Tech.
There are not enough quadruple doink kicks in the world for Rice to win this game. La Tech.
I have La Tech. Southern Miss and WKU.
Now, I've gone with WKU too much this year, I think. I'm comfortable sitting with Southern Miss.
I've gone with WKU an accurate amount of times because they usually win when I pick them, so I'm going to go with them.
This is the same person who's comfortable picking North Texas every week, but I have WKU. Last up, we have MTSU versus Marshall.
I think this one's an easy one. I'm going Marshall.
It makes sense for so many reasons, especially on the football field. I'm going with Marshall.
I have Marshall as well. Although your pick may be different, I think this week it is safe to say that we are all Marshall.
Check out Blue Raider Extra Point on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, we got to leave it there. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here today on Blue Raider Extra Point. Remember to catch us every Saturday morning on True Blue TV, Channel 9, right here at 10:30 a.m. And don't forget, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We want to hear from you.
And if you missed any of this episode or any of our last episodes, you can check those out on our website at middletennesseenews.net. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.
North Texas again.
Got to, man. If you're gonna pick someone, you need to pick them consistently.
Are you picking them to pick
Why don't
them,
you
or are
just
you
pick a
picking
team
them
that you
because,
think is
they're
going to
green
win?
and black?
Because at some point, North Texas has got to win.
They actually did. They beat MTSU this year.
I mean, that's MTSU, though.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're not going
I
to beat
think
like
that
a
they've
real
still
opponent.
got their game of the year has yet to be played.
No, they won their game of the year. I don't know if you saw it. You witnessed it, actually. You picked them. to
Their
win.
game of the year is not against MTSU.
It ain't against UAB, buddy.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.